Okay, did you know your acne is essentially, well, it's basically a metabolic check engine light? Welcome to The Explainer, everyone. Today, we're going on a bit of a medical detective journey to uncover the real science behind something that frustrates so many of us, and that's persistent adult acne. Now, if you've been battling breakouts well into adulthood and feeling honestly just entirely defeated by the skincare aisle, you are absolutely in the right place. We're going to look way beyond the surface of your skin to understand the fascinating and actually sometimes surprising mechanical triggers happening inside your body that are causing these breakouts.
Let's start off with a question that I know for a fact has crossed the minds of so many of you watching this. Why aren't your acne creams working? I mean, let's be real for a second. Think about the sheer amount of time, the literal years wasted, and the money spent on expensive topical treatments, face washes, and serums that promise the world but never actually seem to solve the problem long term. You carefully apply these creams. Maybe, just maybe, you see a tiny bit of temporary relief, but the acne always comes back. It's incredibly frustrating, right? And the reason for this frustrating cycle is actually quite simple once we completely reframe how we look at the skin.
Section 1. The Topical Treatment Trap. Fixing the engine light.
Okay, picture this. You're driving down the highway, and the check engine light flashes on your dashboard. What do? You definitely don't put a piece of black electrical tape over the light and assume the car is magically fixed, right? No, you look under the hood. Well, our skin acts as that exact same dashboard engine light. When we use topical creams and washes, we're merely treating this symptom. We're literally putting tape over the light. The breakouts you're seeing on the surface are actually warning signs of much deeper hidden metabolic drivers. Specifically, we're talking about issues with hormones, insulin resistance, and gut health. Until we look under the hood at these root causes, that engine light is just going to keep flashing.
In the scale of this issue, it is massive. To put this into perspective, adult acne in Indian women is actually one of the most common and most incorrectly treated skin conditions out there. It's a genuine tragedy, honestly, that so many women are trapped in this frustrating cycle of incorrect treatments. They're spending years addressing only the surface while the actual biological root causes go completely unaddressed. It is definitely time we change that narrative.
Section 2. Hormones and insulin resistance, the hidden drivers.
So what's wild is that your breakouts are actually trying to communicate very specific internal issues depending on exactly where they pop up. For instance, notice how PMS or other hormonal imbalances usually map directly to the jawline and chin. Meanwhile, those deep, painful, incredibly stubborn breakouts that just never seem to come to a head, those are heavily linked to insulin resistance. And if your skin is constantly red, irritated, and just dealing with overall systemic inflammation, well, that points directly to poor gut health. Your face is literally giving you a real-time map of your internal metabolism.
Section 3. The Diet and Skin Connection, the science behind dietary choices.
All right, to really grasp the science of dietary choices, we have to demystify one very specific hormone. Meet IGF-1, which stands for insulin-like growth factor 1. Now, under normal circumstances, IGF-1 is just a standard hormone that manages cell growth. No big deal. But when it becomes elevated, and specifically when it's spiked by certain foods we eat, it goes into total overdrive. Elevated IGF-1 triggers your skin to produce excess sebum, which is that oily substance that clogs your pores, and boom, it mechanically creates the absolute perfect environment for acne. You want to know what is biologically happening beneath your skin? It is an IGF-1 spike.
Let me walk you through the exact biological cause and effect reaction here. Step 1, your diet. Say you have a highly processed meal or a really sugary snack. That triggers a rapid rise in your blood sugar. Step 2, your body scrambles to manage that sugar rush by creating a massive insulin spike. Step 3, that spike in insulin directly causes your IGF-1 levels to just shoot up. And finally, step 4, that elevated IGF-1 triggers the excess sebum production and acne forms, usually, as we mentioned, right along the jawline or chin. It's a completely mechanical process. A single dietary choice literally creates a biological domino effect that ends with a breakout on your face. Crazy, right? But wait, insulin is really only half the battle here. We also have to talk about the gut-skin connection. The science points heavily to the fact that your skin actively reflects your digestion. If your gut health is poor, your body basically sits in a state of chronic systemic inflammation. And where does that inflammation eventually have to show up? Right on the surface of your skin. Balancing your gut health is an absolute non-negotiable requirement if you want to stop systemic skin inflammation in its tracks.
So how on earth do we actually interrupt this insulin spike and silence this whole biological acne cascade? Well, the primary, scientifically backed tool is the low-glycemic diet. Now, this isn't some passing fad. It is a solid, evidence-based eating plan focused entirely on choosing foods that have a minimal, really slow impact on your blood sugar. By keeping your blood sugar stable, you completely prevent those massive insulin spikes. By preventing the insulin spikes, you stop the IGF-1 from elevating. And by keeping IGF-1 in check, you are actively reducing acne from the inside out. It's just a brilliant mechanical solution to a mechanical problem.
Section 4. The evidence-based approach, healing from the inside out.
All right, let's get into the actionable steps you can literally start taking today to transition away from just slapping on surface treatments. First, you need to identify your specific root cause. Ask yourself, is your acne hormonal? Is it insulin-driven? Or is it honestly just skincare related? Second, if it turns out to be hormonal or related to PMOs, you absolutely must address those underlying imbalances directly. Third, adopt that low-glycemic diet we just broke down to regulate your IGF-1 levels. Fourth, support your digestion to balance out that gut-skin connection. And finally, utilize evidence-based platforms like Life and Health. You want resources that focus on actual skin health and metabolic science, rather than ones just trying to sell you yet another quick-fix topical cream.
So as we wrap up this explainer, I really want to leave you with a major shift in perspective. The next time you look in the mirror and see a breakout, don't just automatically reach for the spot treatment. Instead, I want you to look at your body's metabolic dashboard and ask yourself, what is my skin trying to tell me about my diet? Thank you so much for joining me on this deep dive today, and I truly hope this empowers you to finally start healing from the inside out.